Oh, hey everybody. Welcome to the Uniquely Regal Robot live broadcast.
Oh, I like that.
From the Uniquely Regal Robot
I
office
like that.
with Uniquely Rob.
Oh, gosh.
And myself, Tom. Thank you, as always, for joining us once again. This is live. If you are watching now, say hi in the comments. Throw any questions you have in the comments. We have a whole bunch of questions that people have already submitted, which we will dive into. But let us know what's on your mind. We will try to answer as much as we can. If you're watching this on YouTube after the fact, thanks for that. Hit the like and subscribe button. Smash that bell so you get notifications, whatever the kids say. But do give us a follow. We have a lot of cool content. There's interviews with ILM legends. There's sneak peeks at stuff that we're working on and behind the scenes videos of the crew. So definitely worth giving us a follow wherever you happen to be seeing this. We've come together today to discuss our new release coming up tomorrow. But I'll give a quick update on one from a couple of weeks back, which is we've been calling them mini masks. They're not that mini, and they're not technically masks, but they are 3D scans of the original masks used in Return of the Jedi. In this case, hold on, wait. I'm backwards, aren't I?
Right.
Klaatu Barada Nikto, for those at home. Here we go. That's better. Our OCD was kicking in. Klaatu Barada Nikto. I just saved the world from Gort. So these are 3D scanned off of the original masks in the film, everything down to the seams up the back, the stitching around the perimeter, all of the little ins and outs and of these beautiful sculpts by Dave Carson, I believe, on all three counts. Maybe I'm off on one. Maybe it was one of them, not him. I know at least two were.
Yeah, those two.
But yeah, super cool. These have been selling for the last 3 weeks now, maybe four, yeah. And actually getting a little low on stock. So if there was something you were considering, they're only $229 each, and there's a payment plan too, which is like 4 months, so like $50 a month. It's kind of a no-brainer. It is the start of a new line of scaled pieces coming out of the archives. People who don't have the space for maybe full-size masks, which we'll do some of those too coming up, but these are a really great way to represent the archives in your collection without taking up tons and tons of room. And yeah, loaded with detail and just really, really cool characters. I'm going to kind of put them looking off to the side here, if that works. How about this? There you go.
Yeah, they're almost out of frame. That's all right.
Okay. And let's get on to maybe today's business at hand. Is there anybody that's joining us?
Tiki Man's here. He says howdy. Rick says hello. So hey, Rick.
Hello.
Ian Thompson says, hey guys, congrats on the launch of the Regal Icons, but who is more iconic than a man? I mean, he's pretty iconic.
I didn't see that coming.
No, I was waiting for the finish my sentence.
Yeah.
you failed the assignment.
What have I done? Yeah, no, all right. Well, we thought we knew him. Yeah, thank you guys. Always good to see you. We've got, this is indeed a brand new line. And in fact, on the back, Regal Icons. This is going to be something that extends, that is a Regal robot thing and not just a Star Wars thing. So you're going to see stuff that is Star Wars. You will see Regal Icons that are Indiana Jones. You're going to see Regal Icons that are neither of those things. And we have a lot of ideas for this line. We have a lot of things that are already going. For us, I love the idea of putting, geek things into people's houses in ways that don't necessarily look like geek things. Maybe not everybody has the place for, a silicone bust of a character or a realistic sculpted piece of some person from a movie or things like that. But when you make them into art pieces, when you make them as these, hefty, bronze finished, patinaed, classy looking things, you can start to put them with, shelves and books and photographs and all kinds of stuff that you would put on a shelf that maybe to the average person that walks by, maybe they don't spot it right away. and maybe they're not quite onto you with what you're doing there, but it's our version of stealth geek, something we've always shot for. And I think that this line is going to be a really kind of fun, classy, different way to address some of these iconic characters. And again, those iconic characters might extend beyond the confines of some of the IPs you normally know. So yeah, very excited as always for something new. As you can see, these are, so this is your standard sort of 3 3/4 scale action figure. These are roughly 6 inches for Leia and 7 inches for Tarkin. I think she's just a little over 6 and he's maybe a hair under 7. They are cast resin. They're finished beautifully with layers of bronze with, you can see just the patina and all of the grooves and things like that. They have a wonderful feel about them. They feel hefty. They feel like art pieces. And, you know, hopefully you can see getting really close. I don't know how close I can get.
It's showing up.
You know, in the face, even in the shirt, you've got all these tool marks and textures that you would find on a handmade bronze piece.
John's asking, what do they weigh?
About 1.5 pounds to 2 pounds each, roughly. Yeah, they've got a really nice heft to them, a pretty good balance too, which is great. But the whole idea is that, you know, even though these start as digital sculpts in these cases, they're sculpted to look practical. They're sculpted to look old world, art style. You know, they feel like actual bronzes when you look at them. I mean, even touching them, this guy, I don't know if it's just because he was in the AC or something. He almost feels cold. Yeah.
It's funny. Mike says they give a Haunted Mansion vibe.
That's a great vibe.
Totally,
yeah,
we totally do. Totally do.
Thank you, Mike. Yeah, I think when you get up close on these, especially Tarkin, where, you know, it's also down to the character. And this is the wonderful thing about art style, right? Princess Leia has a little more smoothness to her. She has a little more refined kind of look. Tarkin has a little more of, you know, the tool marks on the face, kind of giving the impression of that age, those wrinkles, those lines on his face. You're not doing a straight portrait of someone. You know, you're doing the impression of them, the character of them, beyond just trying to capture the actor, trying to capture, in the case of Carrie Fisher, you know, young Carrie Fisher from Star Wars, where she's maybe got, you know, a little softer face than by the time she gets to Return of the Jedi, where she's lost a little weight and she's a little leaner. You know, we're trying to go in here and create that look of her when she's face to face with Tarkin and staring him down, and, you know, all that bravado she comes in with. You know, I sort of expected you to be holding his leash, that kind of stuff, which, you know, didn't go great for her in that scene, but all right, we respected how she went in there. But yeah, we thought it would be really neat. You know, Tarkin was our first choice when we started looking at this line. Peter Cushing's my favorite actor. The character is so great. He's got a wonderful face for bronze. And I knew that we could knock this out of the park. I had sculpted a Peter Cushing years ago, life size. We're talking 25 years ago now. And that was a really enjoyable thing. It's a great likeness. There's a lot to grab onto. So he was a lock. The question was who was going to go with him. And the idea of getting Leia in there was something that came up pretty early. And I'm really, really happy with how all of that turned out. And very, very, I think they make a very nice balanced pair. And you've got not just a little light side, dark side thing going on, but, you know, literal adversaries. So I'm curious to see how many people that are bringing these home tomorrow are going to get both.
Yeah,
I have a feeling
it's a lot. Yeah. Just a few people saying hello. Let me. So you don't get too overwhelmed. Brandon Wayne so what's up? Hey, Brandon. Tiki Man from earlier with the mess is full size clock brought on Nick to confirm. Ronald says hello.
I was talking about Walrus Man.
Joe Blatt says, hey guys, awesome to see you guys. So hey Joe.
Thank you, Joe.
Ian says, will we see any icons that end in Ippet? Whatever could he mean?
Snippet?
Yeah, possibly. Pote Snitkin, possibly?
No, wait a minute.
Mike says, "Hey gang." Oh no, it's the same thing. He said that they give
Phil
the
is an
hospital
icon,
vibes.
though.
I mean,
let's be honest.
Look,
like of all the people out there,
he
like
is
Phil
pretty
is an
iconic.
icon.
Ian says the new gloss boxes also look good. So
Hey,
thanks,
thank you.
Ian.
Yeah.
And Brandon says these look great. And last but not least, Tony Ducker. Hey, Tom, Robin, fellow Roboteers.
Ducker. Yeah, the gloss boxes are gonna, it depends on the piece these days. There's a lot of stuff is still being done kind of the old way with sort of the boutique boxes where it's plain black box with a label on top. Some of the things that we're doing where we're able to get these great price points, we're also able to get some nice boxes thrown in the mix. So, some of that is down to the size of the edition. Some is how we're doing them. But I think these look great. These have full carved styrofoam inserts for them as well with a topper on either side. So that's a really nice thing for protecting these pieces in shipment as well. And yeah, I think people are going to be shocked when these things start showing up because the boxes are huge.
And those are heavy.
They're big, and yeah, these guys are definitely like they're arm day. But I love the way these boxes look. Rob did the design on these with the sort of, the 3/4 on the front and then the ghosted image on each side with the Uniquely logo, which I just think is super cool. And then again, Regal icons on the back. Some of these will have Regal icons more prominently when they're not, based on something where it's co-branded like this, where we've got the Star Wars lockup that we've got to put on there. The color boxes on all of these are going to be $49 each.
How do you beat that?
You can't beat that. Let's be honest. These days, you literally can't beat that. No. And we cut things kind of to the bone on these. We wanted to make sure that these got out there. We wanted to make sure that we really get people on early with this line because we have such big plans for it. And so for us, it was really important to hit that price.
Speaking of which,
yes,
Mike. I'm sorry, not Mike. This is Brandon.
Sorry, Mike.
Mike is next. Brandon's saying, will we see aliens and troopers in this line?
It's a good question. There is a possibility of that. Absolutely. I think, early on, I see this as a way for us to bring some of the more human characters into the mix in a way that treats them with a reverence, maybe that you can't get out of a toy piece or a classic kind of your lower cost minibus where they have just basic paint on them or they're opaque. I feel like this gives us sort of an artistic way to approach these characters that maybe deserve a little more. So we're probably going to start more with stuff like this. That said, I absolutely would love to see some stuff like that in the future. I think a lot of the stuff is like, if people want to see stuff like that, 1, tell us in the comments. 2, bring these home because the better this first wave does, the more inclined we are going to be to make more waves. I could see, maybe Vader might be interesting in a line like this if you're talking about not necessarily a trooper.
Reveal Vader would look really cool.
Reveal Vader would be interesting. Yeah. There's a lot of different things we could do with this line. We have a very large list. Star Wars, Indiana Jones,
Beyond.
They're like Buzz Lightyear confirmed.
Exactly.
The Tiki Man just literally wrote that as we said. But yeah, there's plenty more coming. A lot of it though hinges on how well do these first few waves do. We have wave 1 with this. We have wave 2, which is singles after this. So we've got 1 to be announced for middle of October. We've got the Tote Bronze Bust, which, we're going to have to update the schedule. That's just moved up a little bit to 11/7 so that the 2-sided melting Tote Bronze Bust comes out at the same time as the hanger replica that we're doing. And then going into next year, we have, which comes out in January currently on the board. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, so 1 Indiana Jones with the 2-sided tote bust, and 2, we'll call them non-affiliated for right now, to be announced.
All right, Mike is saying steal the price. Also, how quickly will they ship once they're ordered and paid?
Great question. So they're in production right now. They've been in production for about a month. Tarkin a little ahead of Leia, just in terms of how we got them going. But our expectation is right around the end of the year. I'll have to look. The website will have that information when it goes live tomorrow. Down at the bottom of the main description, it'll tell you when to expect them.
Tiki Man says an unmasked Vader would be cool in this format.
Yeah,
We agree.
I agree. Yeah.
And Mike is also asking if you can see a size comparison with the mini masks and the bronzes.
Let's see if we can. So, that's a good one. Oh God.
Yourself.
So if you take the stand out, he could be wearing that mask. So yeah, these are 40% of life size. So I'd say these are close to third scale, roughly. But it's also going to depend a little bit. Some of them, with Tarkin, we wanted a little more of the chest because we wanted to get to his rank badge. Some of the other ones maybe will be a little bit, a little more chest, a little less chest. Maybe their head size changes a little bit. We're going to try to keep these in good relative scale with each other, but not necessarily a locked specific scale. There's something we do with the magnets where we call it like scaled by mass, where we say like this feels approximately like it's, belongs with this other thing, even if it's not exactly in scale. Sometimes it's about like, scale for price point too, where it's like, oh, okay, Leia's a little smaller, so we give her a little more torso. She's got obviously all that hair and stuff too, so she still feels as substantial as Cushing when you put them side by side. But that's the sort of thing that we kind of consider case by case. But these will all be very, very cohesive with each other. With the other ones, we've already prepped. Tote is a little bit bigger because he has a two-sided chest, so this portion comes down, twice as much. He's also got the big hat as well. Tote is going to be about $5 more, maybe a little, maybe that's within a couple of bucks. And it's just down to that extra mass that he's got. His box is a bit bigger, shipping's a bit more, etc. I'm talking on our end of it, not yours. And then the other two that we have are also already prototyped, already in production, and they are 100% in scale with these. Like if we've lined these up with the two other ones and Tote, and they feel wonderful together.
I have a few questions from online. Anthony S. Love the new bronze bust line. Will it be limited or timed?
It's a great question. Not specifically limited. So they're not timed. These are technically part of our decor line. They're considered tabletop decor. And it really is important to us. We're trying to show these. You'll probably notice we're using a lot of pictures of them on bookshelves and things like that. It's very important to us that people know that these are not just like, to be put on a shelf with, random maquettes and things like that, although they look great there, or mixed in with your toys, or play sets or whatever. To me, these are about like, you can put this on your desk at work. Nobody's going to ever question it. You put these on a shelf behind you in the office. Nobody's going to care if that's on the Zoom, that kind of thing, or your living room. Wherever maybe your significant other wouldn't want your Star Wars stuff out, you could probably sneak one of these in there. And especially as we get into indie, I feel like these start feeling like artifacts. You can put them among your other indie artifacts, and they probably feel great.
Speaking of indie,
but let me finish on the limited thing. So we have set numbers that we have to order for stuff like this in order to keep the price where it is. About 200 pieces is where we're starting on these. There is an opportunity for us to reorder. However, that is going to, for us to do that, that's going to mean these are going to have to sell big, they're going to have to sell fast, and we're going to have the feeling that another 200 are going to go. So I would just say, if this is a line you want to keep going, and if, one, I wouldn't hesitate on buying this first wave. Right now, I'm not predicting a second order on these, but it's not something that's totally ruled out, and there isn't a specific limit But the fact that these have minimum orders that we have to do means that it makes it that much more unlikely that we are going to do reorders. So get in early, grab them, give them a home, and then that will also tell us that you guys want more.
Just a few people commenting. Parminder says, these are very classy. Great job, guys. So thanks, Parminder.
Thank you.
And Brandon says, these displayed with many hardcover Star Wars books is going to be awesome. And we agree with that.
Agreed, yeah. We've done that.
And you were talking about Indy earlier with bronze. Mike is asking, will the tote bus be the same price range, which we sort of just answered?
Ever so slightly more.
And will more Indiana Jones characters be re-released?
We don't have them announced. We have a few ideas for those, and I think it's down to one: how does Tote do? How do these do? Assuming these things sell well, I would definitely not rule it out. I would love to address a few more for sure.
Definitely.
We have a lot of ideas.
And another bronze question from earlier.
And in terms of indie bronzes, tell us who you want to see. Put it in the comments. Go to the Regal Robot, uniquely Regal Robot fan group, which if you're not already there, go find the fan group on Facebook. Put a thread there and just say like, hey, I want to see so-and-so, or who do you want to see as the next mini bronze? And maybe people will throw their ideas in there.
This question comes from Britt Barnum at Instagram.
All right. Who could that be?
No idea. I know the chances are slim, and depending on how well these do, will you guys ever make an Anakin and Padme? I will never purchase something faster.
You guys. Never say never. Yeah.
I think that would definitely.
It's funny. I mean, we've already talked about a couple of prequel ones, in particular.
Yeah.
So don't rule it out. They're, again, like he said, depends how these do. Let's see if these sell well. Who knows? This is the sort of line for us that I think this is our way to do these characters. This is the distinctive, uniquely Regal Robot. This is artistic. This looks crafted. This looks like it can fit anywhere in your space. Like, to us, there's plenty of places where you could get an Anakin or a Padme mini bus over the years, whether that was, a couple of companies that are now no longer out there that did either the mini torso bus or then like the 3D sort of scale, whatever they call that, Legend in 3D.
Yeah.
Mini, where they're third, half scale little bus and things like that. Those are all great. But they feel a little toyetic or plastic or something like that for us. And so our idea was like, what's the way we would do this stuff? What's the way we could address the characters? Because look, we can address Barada all day long, in any scale, Tiki Man. That's the sort of thing that no one would be surprised if we did a small one. No one would be surprised if we did a magnet. No one would be surprised if we did a life size, etc. But when it comes to Princess Leia, what's our way to do that? This is our way to do that. And, could extend to, her parents and beyond. So, yeah, let's see how it goes.
Alex Arnold, he says, I am late. Dang on. He just
where's my woo button?
He just missed it. The first 25 people got that exclusive indie product.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, that's right.
Missed it, Alex.
We had all those.
You were 26.
Used indie props that we gave away, right, everybody?
The lawn has
Poor
to
Alex. Oh man. Yeah.
Brandon says an Alec Guinness Kenobi bronze must make.
That would be amazing. That would be so good.
Yeah, that's
so
definitely high on our list.
Let me also give a shout out to our sculptors on these. So Tarkin was our friend Darren Pattenton, who sculpted Tauntaun magnet for us, maybe the Wampa arm, and a couple of other things over the years. He's an old sculptor friend of mine. And Christian Maggi here at the shop did this one. Darren had the basics of Tarkin there, and Christian really turned this into the bronze look, really made this an art piece beyond just sort of a clean 3D rendering. We also, he and I put our eyes on this a lot to sort of really imbue it with all of Peter Cushing's very unique and interesting features. He's got a wonderfully asymmetrical face if you start to study it like we have. So there, and then Christian did the Leia from start to finish on his own, and it's absolutely beautiful. It's funny. We have it's one of these things where in person we sit here and we go like, oh man, how is that going to look on camera? Because we know that when people shoot things with different lenses, it really changes the face. But you'll probably see from the photos that we've already put up, it captures really, really faithfully on screen, on camera versus what I'm seeing in real life. And again, it's so focused on that first movie look of hers, and really, really proud of what we've got there. So kudos to those guys for what they were able to do so far.
Ronald says the perfect companion piece for Tarkin could only be Dooku.
Yeah.
We spoke about
Sylvester
Dooku.
and Tweety, as they used to go by in Hammer Days.
And Darren says, how about a George Lucas bronze bust?
So that would be a separate licensing concern. That doesn't just come naturally with Star Wars, but I mean, that's an icon.
Yeah.
So who knows?
I have some earlier questions still.
Sure.
These are not bronze specific.
Well, then let's not answer them.
Mitchell E. He's asking, when replicating an artifact, what does the process look like in terms of being faithful to what you have in your hands and to what it looked like during the production of Star Wars?
So it's funny, it's not so much a process as just that balancing act, right? We go through this a lot. I think a good example is the Belloc staff. Over time, the Belloc staff has lost its color on the gold. And that's something that happens with older plating. And so when we first saw it, we thought it was an off silver, like a really, really pale gold. And it was only going through vintage photos that we discovered, oh no, this used to be really gold. So that was the question of, are we giving people what the prop looks like now, or are we giving people what the prop looked like on screen? And 9 times out of 10, we're going to say, give them what's on screen. The Donovan bust, another good example. The coloration on the bust now is a bit paler. He's also completely bald because they pulled his hairpiece off. But in the film, there's also another thing with an edit in the film where he maintains the hair of the earlier version. So when we put ours together, we made him look a little darker, a little grayer, like the lighting in the film, and we kept the hair as it looks on film rather than how it looked on the puppet. And that sort of thing, I think, is, we still scan the prop. We were still super faithful to all the details of everything within. We gave it as much character as we could. We gave it as much realism as we could. But people want what they saw on screen for the most part. I'm trying to think if there are examples of things where maybe we cheated the other way. Even the Nurhachi urn, we cheated a little lighter because it had darkened over time. I guess the answer is most times we lean towards how it looked on screen and or how it looked at the time of production, where we have good evidence for that. And where we don't, then we kind of aim down the middle and stick to what the piece looks like now.
All right, a few more people asking questions live. David Boudreau. Hey, David. He said they both look great, so thanks.
Thank you.
John G is saying a Mando bronze bust would be cool. That would be cool. Would be
neat. Yeah, or like a steel look.
Yeah. Joe Blatz, this is pretty funny. He wrote, must thank you for the Donovan's demise. Had him on display in my refrigerator during the Bills game, and it freaked my guests out when they got their refreshments. So,
you need to make a video, like a hidden camera video of that, and post that to the group. That's amazing. I think that's the best thing we've ever heard somebody do with one of our pieces.
And Ian is following up about the Mando. He goes, an unmasked version. That would be really nice.
Ooh,
Release time with the movie next year. So yeah, that is a cool idea.
Yeah.
Maybe a little baby Yoda with them. And Ian is also asking, might we get an early sneak peek at next week's maquette release? No. If you squint, you can see him. Like screen capture it.
So
zoom
like
it in.
if you were to take this guy and put him with your maquettes,
Yeah, I mean,
it looks pretty good with your maquettes,
looks
right,
great
Ian?
All right, I still have a few more questions that were asked.
I will
earlier.
say, I'm just going to tell everybody, I'm very excited for next week's maquette
It's a
release.
good one.
That is one. We just recently did our photo shoot with all of them, and
it's a lot.
It's a lot. It's also the last piece out of all the pieces we saw on our first official Regal research trip at the archives. We saw a Tusken Raider, we saw a Gaffy Stick, we saw the Wampa Puppet, we saw Max Rebo, we saw Droopy McCool, we saw Yuzum, and we saw that Jabba maquette. So 7 pieces that have been things we've wanted to do since 2016, even before we had the rights for certain things. So yeah, not our first trip to the archives, but our first like official got to put our hands on things trip. And yeah, really, really happy to check that last box for myself.
All right, a few more questions from online. Mitchell is asking, would a scaled down version of the Ark of the Covenant be possible and something Regal would consider doing?
So we love scaled props.
We do.
And would it be possible? Yes. Would we consider doing it? Yes. If not currently planned, if that's the sort of thing you want to see, remind us from time to time, see if other people, follow suit and say, hey, that's a great idea. Maybe it's something we can look at.
All right. John A. says, could we see more frequent prequel releases, like a few a year? And then Cheeky Man follows up with, I like this question.
Ban both. What we already have, so on the board for next year is our first Attack of the Clones maquette. Yeah. We did Jar Jar. Mm-hmm. And we've already gotten what they call, we've gotten our first shots of that, and we've done our paint masters on that. It looks killer.
Yeah, it's killer.
We've got a great signature lined up.
Can we say we have a little surprise with that one without saying too much? A little surprise with that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was it what I just said or the?
Yeah.
Okay.
So. I think we said at the same time.
Okay. Yeah. I'm like, is there another surprise? I don't know. The what? So that one's coming very early next year. I think you want to see more prequel stuff. Let's make that one a great seller, and
this one.
We'll look at it. We have been doing the research as if we will be doing more like that. I will say this. We still have plenty of this range to do as well. And we have people asking us all the time when they're going to see certain ones. We saw a few of those questions earlier in the group. Mm-hmm. So I don't want to slow that down too much. And I also don't want to overload everybody with too much stuff. So we're going to be a little judicious about how we put them in there. But yeah, there's plenty more prequel stuff that even us grumpy old timers like. And I'm sure there will be more coming. We'll see how many for next year. I think, like I said, let's see how the clone does.
Yeah. All right. Steve is asking, he's looking for more photos and details on the space slugs. When can we expect those?
Very soon. Yeah. We just saw some photos of the early samples. Mm-hmm. Looking good. And yeah, looking really good. Mm-hmm. A couple of minor notes to tweak. And then we're expecting our first... So we get our early samples, which are for Disney and Lucasfilm approvals, and then for some reviewers here and there, and for internal for us to do photos and things like that. When we're dealing with stuff that's maybe done out of house, we usually like to use a factory sample for our photography so that we're really honest about what people are getting. That's what we had with the Mini-Mess. That's what we had with Tarkin here, etc. So that's what we're going to be doing with those. And they're looking really cool. And the big slug is so big. It is really enormous. Yeah. It's hard to John Berg always called it the giant loaf of bread, but it's
a giant loaf.
Until it's like if you're putting this thing on your arm, it's taking up your whole arm to the shoulder. I don't know why they designed it that way.
Or what kind of bread John eats.
Yeah.
Land of the Giants bread.
Vegan bread? I don't know.
Yeah, that's a thing.
But it is so large, and you just have to imagine them on set trying to maneuver this thing. And of course, It's funny, I'm realizing he makes the move this way,
Mm-hmm.
which is not easy to do. I wonder if they puppeteered it left-handed
Yeah, maybe
in order to do that, because if you're a righty, you can
tough.
never make that right turn.
That's a tough turn.
Is Phil Tippett double jointed? We'll get back to you.
Speaking of slugs,
Yes.
Joe is asking, wondering how much longer will it take to get a Kirk Thatcher Maquette? Follow-up question, which would most likely be first? Is it the Apple Slug?
Which will be first, and why is it Apple Slug?
Also, it's the Apple Slug.
So, I think that's a fair thing to say. Like, if we're doing Kirk,
it's going
to be Apple Slug first. Apple Slug has a few challenges in terms of how he's made for production. We'd love to do it. We're definitely looking at it. I freaking love Kirk Thatcher. Everybody, I've done a bunch of panels with him. We talk. We've had that after hours time at conventions, in the hotel bar and stuff. Fantastic guy to be around. Tons of fun. Would love to bring him in on one of our editions. He has been also just a great resource for us as we've been figuring out who did what on all of this stuff. They all have. But Kirk being that young guy in his first movie, he really remembered stuff in a way that I think a lot of other guys didn't. So, whenever there's a tiebreaker vote on who did something, I always look to Kirk. Would absolutely love to get him involved. It would be Apple Slug. And if and when the time comes, obviously, we will let you guys know.
We have a couple more questions.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Any updates on the Indy Arc Cherubims?
In production, we saw some factory pictures today of casting. So we'll keep you posted there. I will say the Belloc staffs have been going out. They're going out at about 10 at a time. They're running a little slower than we want. We are doing those semi in-house, and there's a US-based plating company we're using. It is a challenging cast on that headpiece to get it 100% seamed up perfectly and to the casting place. And we do, because anytime you're dealing with, not casting, but plating. Anytime you're dealing with plating, there's a degree of failure rate that you've got to overcome as well. So those are moving a little slower than we want. So if you're somebody who picked up one of those, stand by. They're in the works. You can always email and check in with Katie to make sure things are going okay. But, for the most part, just thanks for everybody for their patience. I know they sent out a batch last week. I think that means there will be another batch in about 3 weeks or 4 weeks. There's kind of a cycle when we go with the plating company where we get a batch done, we send them the next batch, and then they've got a little bit of a lead time of 3 to 4 weeks. So that's the pace those are going. The Tauntaun skulls, the mini skulls, are actually en route to us right now, which means in about, I would say 4 weeks or so, those are going to start to ship, maybe 4 to 5 weeks. The larger Tauntaun skulls are in production now. Those are running a little slower. I think we'll probably send out an email when we have a firm estimate of when those are going out. My guess is, from what we said on the website, maybe it's a few weeks or a month behind where we were initially thinking. But they're going, and they're looking really good. And the big skull is beefy. It's heavier than the Mythosaur skull. It's not as tall, but it is super wide. It's got a lot of depth to it, and I think it weighs 50% more than the Mythos skull. So it's a really, really cool piece.
Mike G is asking, any hints on who the 1014 bronze bust will be? No. But stay tuned.
It's an icon.
Join the mailing list?
Yeah, join the mailing list. Yeah, get on the newsletter if you want to hear. Very soon. I think we'll get this wave out.
Right, and then I think that's a follow-up.
We'll get Jabba out, and then maybe we can throw some hints.
Some teasers, yep.
Pardon me. So yeah, maybe about 2 weeks we'll start teasing that.
Brandon's got a good question. He wrote, thanks for answering all my questions. One last non-bronze question.
Okay. 4 non-bronze?
Yeah. Terrible joke.
Oh, no.
Save me. I love my Kenner figure case plaques. Any thoughts on future Kenner-inspired items?
Oh, a few.
Yeah, a few.
Yeah, we've been stymied here and there in terms of sometimes we have ideas that would be great at a certain price.
Right.
And then we pursue them in the wild and we realize that at the scale we're doing things, hundreds rather than thousands or thousands rather than tens of thousands, we can't get the numbers to be where they want to be. And we'll hold off purely for that reason. And yeah, we've got one idea in particular.
We've had this idea for a while.
For a long time.
It's a good idea.
It's really good. But we'll see.
It'll happen.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Stay tuned.
Maybe these are going to sell so great. We'll get so many more people on the newsletter.
We'll be able to do whatever.
And then we could do,
Sky's
really big runs of stuff. And then everything would be really cheap.
So that's it, guys.
That'd be fun.
Buy everything. And we can make all the cool stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Mike and Ian are asking about Jabba Bust again. But they're asking if we could share the edition sizes and the pricing on them.
I think we could. So it's 100 signature, 55 legacy. Really fun Chris Wayless sketches.
The sketches are great.
And I believe the price is $3.99, $6.99. Sort of same as our average sort of Klaatu or Ishi Tib. I forget was what's his name there? Toadstool?
I think he was in the same.
Toadstool, probably.
I think so.
Yeah, I mean, when we're doing a piece in-house, and I will say this, that Jabba the Hutt has more layers of paint on him than maybe any of the others. Trying to think. I mean, yeah, the Rancor is a separate sort of thing. Nine Nub had a lot, but no, that Jabba has a lot of paint on him, and it's very specific. He's also got, he's the first of them that has like a pearlescent finish to him. He's got a really, really neat little sheen to him that the others don't have. He almost looks silvery in some of the extremities, which is really cool.
I am caught up on questions, so why don't you give us the bronze rundown again? How to get it, how much they are.
Action figure not included. These are going to be available on the website tomorrow, 9/16, 12 noon Eastern. You've got Princess Leia, A New Hope. You've got Grand Moff Tarkin.
Why don't you hold Tarkin up? I can kind of get close to him.
You've got classical bronze styling, lots of detail, striking likeness, as they say.
Handsome.
Even a little flattening in his bald spot. Shh, don't tell anyone. And these are going to be just $49 each. Fully licensed, cast resin, hand painted, finished with a beautiful bronze top and patina for aging and capturing all those little details, all the grooves of the hair in the eyes and all of that fun stuff. They each come with a beautiful full color box as well, carved styrofoam insert, foam toppers on top as well. These will ship around the end of the year. They're going up for order tomorrow. They're already in production. And we have these. We have another. This is wave one. We have our first non-Star Wars one coming up middle of October. We have our first Indiana Jones one coming up in early November. And we have another coming out in January that I think is really going to grab some votes.
I like how you pretend to look at the fake board.
I literally am looking at the board. And that comes out in January. I just knew that. It's amazing. So very excited for these. The uniquely Regal Robot way to do these characters. Crafted, distinctive, very, art style, and just ready to go anywhere in your house, on your desk, on your shelves, in with your cool Star Wars stuff or in with your regular stuff. So looking forward to seeing these get ordered tomorrow and, getting a whole bunch ready to go to people's homes. If you have any questions after the fact, throw them in the comments or go join us at the Uniquely Regal Robot Facebook group. Look it up on Facebook. You can post your questions in there. Rob and I are always around, always looking in, interacting. And honestly, the group there is so good, they can probably answer half the questions before we can. And most of the time correctly. You know who you are. But yeah, thank you everybody for joining us today. As always, we appreciate every single one of you. If you're seeing this on Facebook, please follow us. If you're on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. And tomorrow, noon Eastern,
don't miss out.
Pick them up. And thank you very much. Have a good day, everybody.
Bye, guys.